Science. Hello, and welcome to Probably Science. I'm your host, one of three, in fact. I'm Jesse Case.
I'm Andy Wood.
And I'm Matt Kirshen, calling from this rainy LA afternoon.
Oh, is it?
It's already started there?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all in different places right now,
Yeah.
I guess.
We are. Why are you saying damn it, Andy? Were you hoping to...
Well, I'm driving back from the desert as soon as we stop recording, and part of why I was leaving now is I thought I was going to beat I thought it was going to be like 48 hours straight of this torrential rain. I thought I was going to beat it if I leave in 2 hours, but I will not.
No, you're hitting it.
Damn it.
I prefer beating it in the rain.
Have you heard that people are saying, like, what's atmospheric river? I don't know what that means besides water from the sky, but have you heard that?
I have not heard that phrase. That does sound like someone just not remembering the word rain.
Yeah, that's one of those blood hunter moon things where we're just making shit up. There's no atmospheric river.
Powerful California atmospheric river storm incoming.
Let's introduce.
Something we didn't make up is having a guest today.
Yes.
We do. Someone who's no stranger to rain on account of living in England.
Yes.
How's that for a smooth link?
That was flawless.
Someone I've known for yonks back from when she did stand-up, but also writer, frequent contributor to Viz, which is one of the greatest magazines of all time, and also writer for the New Humanist magazine, and now author of the book Ashes to Admin under the pseudonym Evie King, but real name Christina Martin. Hey, Christina.
Hello, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm good. So, yeah, you've gone through various different guises since I've met you, from stand-up / comedy writer to...
Cannot settle.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book's under a pseudonym then?
Yes.
Okay, so a little bone to pick, not with you, Christina, you're wonderful, but no one else told me it was under a pseudonym.
Oh.
So I have spent the whole time thinking that we'd be discussing a book called Learning Sales Law, which I did not know.
We can talk about that. I'm up for that. That sounds
First
good.
of all, it's $254, so I can't buy the other Christina's book, but I won't be buying it. But it looks good. It's good reviews. But I was wondering why. I'm like, why are we doing this science? Okay, we're really out of guess.
Honestly, she's straight up like most of the sales law writers you meet. Really dry, but Christina really brings some levity.
I bring it to life, you know.
Yeah,
make it funny.
Yeah, absolutely. What else do we have here? We have Sacred Springs, Holy Wells in Great Britain. Was that you?
Yes, I get a lot of her tweets. I also.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I also
get springheads.
I get a lot of tweets for Christina Martin, the Canadian singer, as well, and I have to reroute her praise from her fans to her. And just say, this is for you, and at her in. So she started following me back, just easier.
Well,
to pick up her mail.
So on her book, Sacred Springs, which is about the sacred springs, the healing holy wells of the British Isles.
Yes.
So kind of water springs, not sort of like boing.
Right. Yeah. No, these aren't. Yeah, exactly. Like
that's the next book.
Yeah.
Holy whirly gigs in Sacred Springs. Yeah.
So someone that maybe has tweeted at you.
Bounce closer to God.
Yeah. That's the bouncy castle in the sky. It's C.H. Cooper says that's a great starter book for anyone wanting a comprehensive tour of the subject.
Oh, yeah. That's
which, again, not your book, but it makes you wonder if this is a starter book, how many other sacred springs...
Yeah, you got to go in at that level before you can handle the rest.
You can really deep dive.
These are literal springs, right? You can get into. These are springs of water.
We're going to ask you about all the other Christinas.
All the people you don't know.
You do have to know about all the other Christina Martins, because there are a few. There was Miss Wheelchair Florida.
We're going to discuss Coldplay. We're going to talk Chris Martin. We're going to
do all of them.
As somebody who also has, I will never top anything. There are so many Andy Woods ahead of me, including the late lead singer of Mother Love Bone. I don't know if you know that early grunge band. Or now there's an Andy Wood shredding guitarist on Instagram who's got like hundreds of thousands of followers.
Nice.
You can't even beat living people.
Nice. I've had sort of somewhat of a Twitter agreement with the other Jesse cases that there's like 7 of us, on Twitter that have talked to each other. Not so much a group chat, but we have decided that we will not deny anyone else's work.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Just take credit
Someone
for all
says
of
good
it.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, like because one of them's like a producer, sort of in Chicago. One of them's like a rapper in Sacramento, and it's like let's just make people think that like we're just these crazy artists that do all these
polymath.
things.
Yeah.
Why
Like the
not?
Power Rangers when they put their hands together and become one.
Absolutely. Isn't the one guy in jail now, or he
Jesse.
died? The Pink Ranger, one of the
I
Rangers.
think someone died.
One of them died. One
A
of them
ranger
died.
recently.
Went to the jail in the sky, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you did not write about Sacred Springs. What's your book? What's going on?
No, not this time. My book is all about. They're called Section 46 funerals, which isn't very exciting. They're sort of welfare-assisted funerals for people who don't have anyone to do a funeral for them, or if their family do still, have any connection to them, they don't have any money to do a funeral for their family member. So the council step in and take over the arrangements. So it's all about that job and basically the stories that come out of it, because it's full of stories, obviously, because it's full of people's lives. And
Yeah.
it's an interesting line of work. So every time I sort of various sort of wedding receptions and parties, whenever anyone asks the cliche question, what do you do? And I would tell them, they'd all go, ooh, you should write a book about that. So I did.
Yeah, because there was
Cash in on that then. No, not,
There was
not
also-
cashing in, but, people
Yeah.
want it.
Well, there was
People
also
want-
an episode of a Radio 4 show that I just checked is still available online that was
Yes.
following you tracking down basically the life of someone who died with no loved ones who came forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I had 2 episodes of that. One for an unidentified person who was found on the beach, and one for someone who died in a care home during COVID. And so there were 2 very different cases, but yeah, very representative of the job.
So Section 46 is of the Public Health, and I guess that's the Control of Diseases Act
Yeah.
of 1984.
That's correct. That's very well guessed.
Yes, I just absolutely. It's crazy that I just pulled that.
Yeah,
out.
how did you do that? Yeah, it's a sort of uncomfortable bit of legislation for me, because whenever anyone comes to us for this assistance, they're coming to an environmental health department, which is a strange sort of place to put it, because that's sort of the department that usually deals with bad smells, drainage, and all things that annoy people like rats and infestations, and so to place someone's death in, oh, that's now a problem for public health, that's a threat to the public good because there's a body that's not being dealt with. But we try and raise it above that, and make it a proper funeral with a proper service. But it is sort of always uncomfortable to me that it's in environmental health, the same way that
But yeah, you saw like just down the corridor from the bin men.
yeah, because like the bin men, when there's an animal run over and is getting in the way on the middle of the street, they go out to collect the animal, and it's just sort of awkward to think that down the hall there's the similar but not similar. Obviously, I'm not drawing any parallel, but it's just the feeling of like that part of the job is making sure someone's body is taken care of because it's not being taken care of, and yeah.
But that kind of is what your department and then turn into your book is all about. Is like taking these sort of anonymous deaths and turning them into actual
Yes, exactly.
stories and people.
So that they're not just someone that comes across your desk and you do the bare minimum.
So-
and, yeah.
So who does come in then? If these are anonymous, if there's no, survivors or a will or something, then who would come in and just say, here's a body?
Ah, yes.
Like,
So the coroner is one of my
Okay, there you
main
go.
people. Care home managers very frequently.
Okay.
And hospitals, but not in my district, because I don't have any hospitals in my district, but hospitals would be coming to councils where they are situated, because it's where you die, not where you lived. So that's why if someone jumps off Beachy Head in Eastbourne, it's Eastbourne's responsibility, even if they drove down from Sheffield,
Right.
and so it's literally where you die. So I've had people
What a
die in
weird
their
rule.
car, yeah. So someone's driven in and died in their car.
So it's a coroner or like someone from Toyota
Yeah, basically, it's just
comes in
someone
and they're like, we need
who needs
how
help.
do we do a Toyota-thon funeral within this budget?
But yeah, and also there will be families, because it's sometimes to do with lack of funds, so it will be a
Yeah.
literal family member, which is obviously much more challenging conversation.
Well, even just the waiting room, it's like they're all sad, but then the guy next to them just has a problem with bees.
yeah, all human
coming
life
in.
is here.
Right.
It's from everything, from the mundane to the absolute end, and the most important bit. It's quite an interesting job from top to bottom, even if you're just dealing with the everyday, because the everyday complaints can be ridiculous and very interesting too. I've had to say to people before, I'm sorry, I can't compel your neighbour to change their curtains. This the people that phone and what they think we can do to tell their neighbours off for them. So I've got all these different things on my desk, from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Because you've bounced around a few different government departments in your time.
I have in my time. I've been in the health department and was luckily out of that by the time COVID hit. I've been in the Office of Fair Trading. I've been in DCMS, the Culture, Media and Sport. I've been in charity and in private sector and in public sector and local government. I've been everywhere. I can't settle on anything, as we discussed earlier with stand-up writing. I just, bounce around.
Yeah, there's a vibe, though, right? I mean, if you want to say like stand-up writing, there's a wanting to help out vibe.
There's a through line. There's a getting involved. There's being interested in people, I guess. Being interested in the world and wanting to see what's going on and talk about it.
Sure. But I mean, it sounds like you've settled on... I think that happens to lots of comedians, is they wind up just sort of settling on... service work of some kind.
Yeah, I think
because that's not to make stand-up sound over important. It's the other way, actually, where they're like, oh, this satisfies the same itch.
Yeah, exactly. Without the complication of having to travel loads of places and stand in the back and wait 3 hours before you go on, and
and actual money, not drink tickets.
That's
or
it.
whatever.
People going, it's good stage time. It's stage time. I'm giving you publicity here. So
right,
and it's anecdotes, snacking up, and we all love anecdotes, and stories.
Well, after you spend 2 years like arranging council funerals for free, then maybe we can move you up
we can give you a
better we can throw you a few better bodies than maybe to.
You could be on the bill with like Caitlin Doughty.
Right.
Paying for funerals with exposure, though, is a great.
Yeah, you were saying just before recording, your book's listed in the same. Your book shows up in the same categories as Caitlin.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to her episode, that was, I don't know, 4 years ago?
Way longer than that. It was like 10 years ago.
It might have been almost.
Yeah,
10.
so much time has gone by with none of us realizing. I think about it sometimes. I'm like, oh, that was 7 years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
No, she's great. And yeah, it was really nice to see my book on the same web page, like the same category. That was a real moment.
What
and also on Stuart Lee's recommended books of the year.
Yeah, he did his
that's
newsletter.
cool.
Yeah, he did his newsletter this week, and I woke up and saw it in my inbox and was bleary-eyed reading it, and then just saw he said his best book he'd read in 2022 was mine. So that was amazing boost. Because he's a
that's great.
real hero
Sweet.
of mine, and he gave me a nice quote for the front cover as well. He said he
very
laughed
cool.
and he
That's
cried,
awesome.
which is, he said it's a cliche, but I did laugh and I did cry. And I realised I wasted my life.
Well, we can all agree that Stuart has wasted his life. But I think at least on that, we can all come
We
together.
can put quotes around that now.
So as far as the details of what you do, though, like how often do you end up having a funeral for no one, and what does that look like?
Luckily, I haven't yet had to do a funeral unattended. Because even when I had an unidentified person, I got 110 people along. Because more so for that person than anyone.
Well, you start with bringers, Andy. That's how you start. You do bringers, and then
Yeah. You have to bring up 5 friends.
Right. Yeah, and then eventually you sort of do Edinburgh. You do a daily funeral, like 30 times.
You get a full handler.
You got to make your own flyers. It's a nightmare.
It is. You have to stand outside waving at people passers by. But for
the amateur funeral circuit is not to be envied.
It's hard work.
I've taken the bit too far. I agree. I agree with Andy's question. That is fascinating.
But no, for her more so than anyone. But I think because no one had an identity for her, everyone could sort of put their own story on her and come with their own issues and their own, things to resolve. And so they came just because she wasn't known and she had nobody. I think that spoke to everyone's 3 a.m. fear of having nobody. Whereas
people spoke.
Yeah, everyone wanted to do their own little home-written eulogy. There were some really nice things that people had written and wanted to say, and flowers were stacking up on the side of the grave, and it was a real moment. Actually, I think it was more, for the people that were there than anything. Yeah.
Right.
But the ones where there are names are less interesting to people because that means, Joan, for example, or Fred doesn't hold the same allure and you can't put your own story on them. But for those people, if I've got a name, I can usually find some people to come, whether it's through Facebook groups, local, or just ringing around, looking in little notebooks, phone numbers. Sometimes you'll end up phoning the plumber who did their house 2 years ago and they'll be like, what? And sometimes you'll phone someone and they'll start crying. It's just a real lottery when you pick up the phone and go through the phone book.
Yeah.
Wow. And people, when there is a sort of a funeral with no, so there is a name, there's an identity, you were saying.
Yeah.
Or is this one you're talking, it was completely, you didn't even know who it was? The
unidentified person, we didn't know anything, age,
but
anything.
Did you have a cause of death?
Nope. Completely just a mystery.
Wow.
He died of anonymity.
Yeah, just found on the beach. So
well, I would assume if you didn't have an age or I know in the States anyway, they automatically do an autopsy.
Yeah.
So was this an older? It had been there a while or washed up or?
The coroner did an autopsy, but not much could be gained from that.
Yeah, sorry to get too grisly. It's fascinating to not have anything but a gender. That's fascinating to me.
The front was completely degraded because of the water and being face down in the sea for so long. So it was just you can't tell much, I think, at that point about what happened. And even if I think they said there may have been a fall from a height, but even then you're thinking, well, it could have been pushed off or jumped or who knows, or just been bashed about, because you walk along the beach sometimes around here and there will be like animals that have washed up, entire sheep. So the sea can do all sorts of things and move things, and people can come from far away, people can come from across the channel on the stream. So it's hard to say once someone's been lying in the sea for a while where they came from and what happened. Yeah.
That's crazy to think of all the possibilities that could have been. Yeah,
it is. And it sort of boggles the mind a bit because everyone had their own personal theories, I think, as well. A lot of people came there thinking she killed herself, and they'd had their own suicidal ideations, and
not to degrade any of this, but I find the sheep far more mysterious.
Isn't it? Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean sheep wash up?
I was walking along the beach doing.
I've seen people in the ocean before, so I can put that together.
Yes,
but
sheep don't swim.
What do you mean there's a sheep washing up? What are you talking about? I
was walking along the beach during lockdown filming.
You wrote the wrong book, is what you did. Way more #1 bestseller. You'd be in a mansion right now if you wrote the sheep book.
I think, well, baby book too, because I am being asked about what I want to write next. But I was filming a video for a friend, when I was walking along the beach, and I suddenly went, wait a minute, what's this? And in real time, they saw me walking towards something and my face falling. I don't know what I thought at first, but it was huge and it was on its back and its legs, all 4 legs were up in the air, like straight up. And I was like, it's a sheep and it's completely intact. It's not injured. It's just there, like it's fallen from the sky. It was really odd. But we do sometimes have that, like just a sheep will be on the beach and you don't know what it's probably wandered off a cliff over in Beachy Head and floated down and been pushed by the tide.
But legs straight up in the air.
It was really odd. It was very Blair Witchy. the pose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, maybe because of the salt. You rarely find such an intact shipwreck.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Cute.
I love it.
So yeah, you find all sorts of things by the sea. It's an interesting place to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah. I was going to
Christina-
segue. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Matt.
No, I was gonna get into the question that we always ask
Yes,
our guests,
yes.
Oh yeah.
which is because I also know of you from back in the day writing for things like New Humanist and things like that. But what is your background in science? And that's ranged from classes people liked or hated to blowing stuff up in the woods with your friends to
I think
anything.
my only background is being a biological organism, because it was really.
Boy.
That's solid though. That puts you ahead of most of our guests.
Yeah, so I'm biological. Yeah, because I was really, I loved the subject, but school made it so boring. My teachers were very bad. Not to blame completely them, but I probably wasn't great myself as a pupil. But they didn't make it seem interesting, which is amazing, really, because it's very interesting, and they somehow made it very dry. So I didn't pay much attention in science, and then just went straight off into humanities, English, and all that, and drama. So my only background is trying to ape George's Marvelous Medicine as a kid and mix loads of things in the kitchen, and just being made of biology.
Yeah, I think that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. That, like, I think every kid goes through a phase of thinking that they can make some kind of
Yes.
potion or chemicals, or just assume that if you get the right combination of shampoos, then you'll get an explosion.
Exactly. Some simple household items I can make magic with.
It's easy to see how, like, before the scientific method and stuff, how, like, alchemy really was attractive. Like, you could get paid to try to do that.
To just muck about, yeah.
Yeah, to just mix shit together and hope you can make gold. Or you're like, why wouldn't that work?
Yeah.
It's complete just little kid brain. We know now, but it occurs to me, like, yeah, just go for it.
Now we know what you actually get is just sort of grey shampoo.
Yeah.
You just
And mum
get, like-
being annoyed.
Yeah, because it was the expensive
It was
stuff.
well, I mean, that was also before
Using
shampoo.
your potion.
You know?
Before even shampoo. Oh,
Oh, yeah, what did they
what
do?
were they
Can you
doing?
imagine?
That makes me want
Just
to.
like rub dirt on their head or something, and then
Dark Ages indeed.
Yeah, so was it Newton who was surprisingly into alchemy in his later years, or somebody else?
A lot of people that you'd think were very smart were super into alchemy. Because I recently I can't name names. I should come correct here, but I recently read this weird article on it because of, like, sort of the alchemist version of the Holy Grail, like what they're always looking for, and it's this element that doesn't exist, but it, like, turns anything to gold. So that's what they were always trying to create, or what is it called? There's people screaming at their dashboard right now.
Wait, you're asking what the thing that could do it was called that they were looking for?
Yeah.
The Philosopher's Stone? Is that,
Yeah,
I'm just
the
looking up-
magnum opus, which comes from great work. Magnum opus is an alchemal term for the process of working with the prima materia, which is called the first matter, which is the thing that does not exist, to create the Philosopher's Stone.
which is a material that can turn base metals into gold.
Yes, and that's what they were all trying to do.
I mean, as long as that predates the understanding of the periodic table, which I get. Now I got to figure that out. Like, because it's not crazy if you don't know that gold is.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
An
It's like
element and
I
not a
totally
compound.
get it. Like how there's a great chance I would have fallen into alchemy if I was.
Oh, you would have got way.
I know, man. I would have done all sorts of weird shit. You guys know me.
Oh, there's in fact, to be honest, it's only Wikipedia that's probably kept you away from it today.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and sort of
It
the
wasn't like-
taboo of it. Like I'm. It's like being too into steampunk or something. Like I can't be seen as a guy that's into
No.
alchemy.
This is
You
so
know?
cool.
Right.
Yeah.
You could kind of like the aesthetic a bit.
Yeah.
You could allude to it.
This is why I just did the shampoo thing. Just flirt
Yeah,
with
just
it,
keep it down.
Yeah.
but don't get too into it.
So Mendeleev. Oh, this is 1800s. Okay, so I mean, yeah, I guess it's reasonable in Newton's time. You could have thought that gold was a compound and not an element, and therefore was some combination of other elemental metals.
Right. Of course.
Yeah, trying to give him some credit, but I forgot if that was also because of some kind of like lead poisoning or something else that made him crazy later in life.
I think it was actually mercury.
Or mercury point. That makes
Yeah, he's thought to have large amounts of mercury in his system.
Who?
I remember a teacher telling me it was because he liked pink, the color pink, and the only pink paint available was mercury based. But I don't know whether that's true.
Wait, this is the first I'm hearing of any of this. Isaac Newton? Sir Isaac Newton?
Sir Isaac Newton did...
Why'd they think he had a bunch of mercury? Was he like turning blue or something? Or silver? Or?
He went a little bit off the rails later in life. And mercury is known to do that. That's where the concept of the Mad Hatter comes from as well. Because they used mercury in the process of shining up hats.
Oh.
Or just making the felt more moldable or something, right?
So hat makers used...
Yeah.
I just view...
hat makers use mercury.
I've always viewed the Mad Hatter as what would happen to any person that lived in that world. Like, it's just like talking cards walking around and shit. Like, you're not going to be normal.
That's a point.
There's a cat in the tree that's like on mushrooms. Okay, sure.
Yeah, in many ways, he's the only sane one. Like everyone else, who's just acting like it's normal.
His response is the most logical.
Yeah, you're gonna go a little wonky at your tea party. Like settled. Like you don't have to call him mad. You know.
It's environmental, right? And by the way, doing a quick Google, it might be that Newton was bipolar. I'm not sure. I just put a link to an article about this.
Oh, it says he was into the Hermetic tradition. He was one of the Hermetic scientists. So alchemy. So Jean Baptiste van Helmont, Robert Boyle, Isaac Newton. Those are the super famous ones.
Hermetic, as in they were hermits?
No, Hermetic is from the god Hermes.
That's the messenger god, right?
Yeah, it's to refer to the religio-philosophical system propounded by a specific subgroup of Hermetic writings known as Philosophical Hermetica. And all that shit gets really into alchemy. They all got really into alchemy. Here we go with the occultists. Oh, I'm all in now. This is great.
This is your new obsession?
No, it's just the crossover between actual science and occult stuff in like the Middle Ages fascinates me, you know?
Yeah.
Any rune, I'm gonna go, what's going on with that? You know?
What's up with that rune? With Jesse Case. Yeah.
My classic late night show. Wow. Very interesting. So we've never seen gold, something else transmute. We've never seen transmutation. You know, we've never seen it.
Yeah.
No one's ever seen it. Not even Neanderthals. They've never seen it.
It sounds like you're segueing towards something.
No segue. I'm just
because I was going to say that we have, but only in nuclear processes. It is possible to turn things into gold.
Oh, that's a good point.
And turn elements into other things, but it involves
a lot
breaking or combining elements and in a nuclear fashion.
And gold being atomic number 79, it would be extremely hard.
It would be very hard to make gold in any way from anything, and particularly from
Spielberg can do it. Box office gold, baby. You guys see that in the Hermetic directing tradition? I was trying to segue.
Anything bigger than iron had to come from supernovae, I believe, right?
Yeah,
because that's the point at which things will stop fusing.
Well, anything
in a star.
Pretty much, I'm pretty sure anything bigger than like lithium comes from supernovae for the most part.
No, lithium's like 3 or 4 on the table, right?
Yeah, but pretty much stars until they supernova are mostly. I could be full of shit here, but I'm pretty sure they're nearly all hydrogen and helium, and nearly all of the fusion in stars is just turning hydrogen into helium.
I think it's just smaller, like stars like ours, yes, but I'm pretty sure that you don't get to supernova until everything's turned to iron, and that's the breaking point. I think I've talked about this before, but because I just learned this recently, that any atom smaller than iron, which is number 26, it's a net gain of energy for it to fuse. Any atom bigger than iron, with more than 26 protons, it's a net gain of energy to break apart. So you're never going to have fusion of things smaller than iron. You're only going to have fusion of things smaller than iron. You're only going to have fission of things bigger than iron.
Yes.
As in like any two, like you mash two hydrogens together, and the helium that results weighs a little bit less because a little bit of energy / mass was lost in those two fusing. And the same thing, like uranium, plutonium, that breaks apart into two smaller things, and those two things weigh a little bit less than the thing that started as one, because some energy is lost in the fission, some energy / mass, and the midpoint of that is iron. So I think the star will keep getting denser and denser and denser and fusing into bigger things. Once it gets to iron, it's not a gain of energy for it to fuse anymore. So then it just does something insane that I don't quite understand and collapses and explodes because it's just.
I feel like I'm co-writing a song with Moby.
We are all made of stars. It's true.
It's just way too detailed. Moby's like, okay, like I don't know how we can rhyme all that. It's very literal, you know.
We are all made of stars. I mean, it's corny. Like when that song came out, I thought it was the corniest thing, but it's like literally.
No, I know, but it's one of those things where someone tried to explain it to him like that, but it like blew his mind. He's
we're all made of
simplified
stars.
it, you know,
And he's like, fetch me my synth.
Yep.
I have to get this out.
You, vegan chef I've hired, fetch me my synth.
Yeah. He's that restaurant I think has closed down, the one that's just on Hyperion.
Well,
or not Hyperion, Rowena. The Moby restaurant.
yeah.
There was a Moby restaurant?
What?
Oh, of course there were several Moby restaurants, but you can't just tell people that you dated Natalie Portman and expect your restaurant to stay open. Everybody knows that. You know what I mean? Everybody knows that.
Oh,
When was the Natalie Portman era? Was that at his peak? When she,
No.
Past peak.
No, well, it was all hindsight, like...
Oh, she claims they never dated, right?
She's like, first of all, I was fucking 12, and secondly, like, no, like he, and so then the big question is he a creepy guy? Is he a pathological liar, or is he so, you know, Moby-ish that he thought they dated because they like hugged once, and he's kind of one of those guys.
We're all connected now. Yeah.
We're all made of stars.
Right. Technically, we're married.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of things out in the stars, though,
nobody has seen Moby's dick. The last time anyone saw that object was years and years ago. But Earth, Earth is about to see an object last seen during the time of Neanderthals.
Ooh,
it's pretty crazy, huh? Yeah. If you look up into the sky over the next few months, and you're bound to, probably even accidentally, you'll do it once or twice. You can see an object last seen when Neanderthals walked the Earth. On March 2nd, 2022, astronomers at the Zwicky Transient Facility. That's Zwicky Transient Facility, one of my favorite transient facilities. They discovered a comet using a wide field survey camera. The comet is estimated to complete an orbit of the sun once every 50,000 years, meaning the last time we saw the comet was in the Upper Paleolithic period when humans began to expand throughout Asia and Europe. The comet, dubbed a tongue-rolling C2022 E3 ZTF, is currently too dim to be seen without a telescope. However...
Stupid comet.
I know. And also, you know, why is it named that, like... You know what I mean?
What is this, Elon Musk's kid?
Yeah. What's going on? Whatever happened to Haley? You know,
Hale-Bopp.
Right? Yeah. Simple.
Something that starts with hail.
Yeah. You used to have comets you could trust.
Yeah. You used to have comets you could form a death cult around. Not this is too complicated. You can't get anyone in your suicide cult with this kind of name.
No. And no one's going to buy white New Balance shoes because of this thing.
No, this won't sell any shoes. That's the first thing I look for in a comet was
that the shoes they all had to go to sleep in?
I don't know.
Wasn't that part of the Hale-Bopp death cult? Was like we're all wearing white sneakers to bed when we take our poison pudding?
I don't know. I've watched those I've watched the goodbye videos, and that's some crazy-eyed shit.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch? They're on YouTube.
Oh, they are? What?
Yeah, YouTube is just loaded with cult goodbye videos if you search them. I don't know why they still have ads, which
really?
is weird. But like, so you're just watching this insane all right, guys, I love you. I'll see you guys on Nebula 9, or and they're just like crazy eyed. And then it's like an Arby's ad. It's like, we've got the meats, and then it's back to.
We're gonna have the tongue rolling ones soon.
Yeah.
Oh no, I just Googled Hail Bop shoes, and sneakerheads are collecting the Nikes that the Hail Bop cult people wore.
What kind of shoes were they?
I just linked to it. They were Nikes. They weren't white New Balance. Maybe I'm confusing is it like white supremacist shoes with death cult shoes?
So easily done.
Yeah, thin line though, buddy. Thin line. Honestly.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail the comment.
No, I'm just saying that many a death cult is also white supremacist. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
So it's currently too dim to be seen without a telescope. This comet, this C2022 E3 ZTF. However, it may be possible to see with the naked eye sometime at the end of January and beginning of February 2023. The comet's currently on its approach to perihelion. That's its closest approach to the sun, is what that word means, perihelion, which will occur on January 12th. It'll be closest to Earth, known as at perigee. That's on February 1st. And around this point, it may be visible to the naked eye, though Sky at Night pointed out it would likely look like a smudge of chalk dust on a chalkboard rather than the dazzling display put on by Comet Neowise.
Was Neowise the one?
So this is something that the ancients would not have noticed at all.
Would they not
Well,
have
you're assuming Neanderthals didn't have telescopes there, Matt, and that's where I think
that's a good point.
That's very rude.
Well, no, but I'm
just
also
asking
thinking that the
questions.
lights of their cities would have made it too hard to see.
Yeah. Absolutely. The comet, first believed to be an asteroid before the coma was observed, was discovered using a telescope that, at 1.2 meters, is around the size of Hervé Villechaize, who played evil henchman Nick Nack in James Bond.
Why did
That's an amazing unit of measurement.
Yep, that's one Hervé Villechaize.
I'm going to measure everything by that now.
That's real.
That's real. That's.
I
wasn't reading the article. Is that genuinely
it's in there?
Yes.
I'd like to bake a cake using that method and just have like one hand of his is for flour.
1/800th of a Hervé of baking powder.
Eighth of him would be an egg.
That's just that's the craziest left turn I've ever seen in an article. Like, if I hadn't been looking at the article, I'd have been like,
dude,
oh,
this is all off the rail. I think this has got to be. Is this auto-translated from something? Okay, I'm looking at the comment.
ChatGPT
No, I'm looking at the comments, right, as I always do. Yeah. And some people are calling out the unit of measurement. They're like, that's insane, But the first comment, the most popular, rather, very assumed time to share with family and especially the young ones. This is a once in many, many lifetimes to not enjoy the universe we live in. Hopefully a clear night out on the grass, spending time with our loved ones, enjoying life.
Oh, my comment made it.
Yeah.
Great.
Here, HV built a failed community for little people back in the 80s. If you were under a certain height, you got to live in a condo for free. They were called the Stay Free Mini Pads. So...
Wow.
I gotta say, if you asked me what Stay Free mini pads are, I would not have guessed accommodation for little people.
Wait, I think it is.
It's got to be a joke, right?
It's a backronym for feminine hygiene products.
Right, it's got to be a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, Christopher coming in hot in 2023.
Yeah.
But these people have good... This is hilarious.
Wait, Christopher wrote that on December 31st, 2022. He's like, I'm wrapping up the year
listen to this one.
Maxi pad joke.
How is the guy that played in a James Bond movie relevant? What a way to ruin a good article. I have no idea who the guy is, and I've never even seen one James Bond movie. I have no desire to. I'd rate this article a 3 out of 10 just because of the last paragraph. It made the article sound stupid. Username, not a Bond fan. Good info, but you brought up my least favorite franchise, my friend.
But now you've based your username around it, so...
Well,
sucked in.
Yeah, it's like, don't think of a pink elephant. It's just you can't
now
not
I
now.
am
It's just...
not a Bond fan forever. It's how I define myself.
So this comet is going to safely pass Earth at about 44 million kilometers, or 36,667 million Hervé Villachez away.
I just want to talk to the James Felton. We got to get James Felton on the podcast. And
Senior staff writer James Felton.
Is it one of those things where he wanted to? Is it like the brown M&Ms in the Van Halen rider, where he's just testing you to see if you got this far into the rider?
Yeah.
Or
And also,
the
this is
article?
on the website IFL Science, which, again, if anyone does know what those letters stand
Yeah.
Somebody someday has to explain the mystery of those letters. Yeah.
All right. Well,
But thank you, Justin Broad. For sending that in.
yes. Thank you, Justin. Very interesting.
Well,
Very interesting.
I have a story.
Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hang on. There's a couple of little possibilities, but it feels like we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about scientists reversing erectile dysfunction in pigs.
Oh, yeah. No, obviously. This has been
synthetic
the talk
tissue.
of the town around here. Everyone's been talking about it.
Yeah. Because pigs, as we all know, have curly penises.
Mm-hmm. Pigs and ducks, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of different versions of the story that I found, but I'm going to go with the one on sciencealert.com.
Sure.
They've successfully restored erection function in pigs with penis injuries using artificial tissue.
Okay.
We were surprised by the results in animal experiments where the penis regained normal erection immediately, says tissue engineer Shuito Shi from South China University of Technology. Almost half of all humans with penises experience some form of erectile dysfunction between the ages of 40 and 70. Some of those experience Peyronie's disease, where scar tissue from past injuries can cause pain and disruption in function. This is usually treated by grafting tissues from other parts of the patient's body into the penis to replace the damaged area. But our immune system are good at rejecting insertions of biological materials, and even successful grafts can lead to problems like penis shortening because of differences between tissue types. I don't know how the penis shortening works. Is it just like, oh, you accidentally used your little finger, or
I don't know, but I would imagine that
or nose?
Well, I would imagine the ratio of pig dick injuries is. I mean, they're so short. It's probably constant. You got to be every day banging your dick on something.
Wait,
I thought the pigs are short, not the dicks.
Right, the pigs.
I was trying to figure that also.
they're the
Why would
queen.
that? Yes. Yes.
No, the pigs. The pigs are very.
Okay.
What I'm saying is
The animal is short.
animal is short. It's and stuck to the ground. And very.
So you think there'd be a
Right.
certain amount of dragging going
Drag
on there?
dick.
Well, no,
yes.
I don't think it's like that.
Like when you drive too fast over a speed bump and your chassis kind of gets scraped.
Right.
Yes.
I just think it would be more prone to injury. I'm not saying that they're like dragging their dicks around or something. I don't know how big a hog cock is.
Hog.
Or hog.
Yeah, a double hog, a hog squared. I don't know. So I'll give that a Google. You guys keep reading this. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sure.
Where,
Or
where
can
do you
click
stand on? Where do you guys stand on the where four-legged animals should wear trousers debate?
Oh.
Which way falling and what?
You've seen the diagrams of like how should a dog or how should a horse wear trousers? Where it's like, do they go over the back two legs, or do they go over all four legs up to halfway?
Oh, got it.
It's difficult because in some representations they'd be standing up because they're being animated to look like a human. That's why they're wearing clothes, like in Donald Duck's case. But if they're doing what they're normally doing,
Right.
if they're on all fours, like their normal stance, then it should really be the way we would do it: all legs, all bottom half.
I think so, because I think you start with the shoes, and like where would shoes go? And I think you would
On
put shoes on
everything,
all
yeah.
four
Why would you leave
feet.
off any shoes? Yeah.
You wouldn't have like gloves on the front ones, so that's I'm on Team Christina on this one. Where do you guys?
So
stand?
I'm sorry. You're saying all four legs and then halfway up the torso.
All four legs to halfway,
To halfway up the leg or halfway
Or-
up the torso?
halfway up the torso, just like where the waist
Yeah.
would be, or just covering the back two legs and cutting off halfway, and the belt would kind of loop around the midriff.
If it's a dog, I'm the latter. If it's a centaur, I'm the former.
Sure.
It just
Okay.
makes sense. If it's a human with two arms and then four legs,
Right.
Isn't that what a centaur
Yeah,
is? The
yeah.
horse-
Centaur is not really
six
half and
limbs.
half. Yeah, but that sort of more defines what's arms versus legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got you got 6 limbs, 2 of those are arms. I think all 4 should be in pants if you're a centaur.
Yep, I agree that a centaur should wear pants.
Out in public.
They should wear pants.
Glad we can all finally agree on this.
I've always said that. I've always said that. So I'm doing some research here, and the pig cocks are up to 1.5 feet long. They're huge, these things.
So we should really be
that is much bigger than I was
working
expecting.
on getting that technology and the twirliness across to humans.
If anything, the twirliness, I think, would...
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, and you...
It does look festive.
A lot of fun.
Okay, and also, this is not science, but I'm going to put this article in here for you guys to check out. There's been a mutant pig born that has a penis on... it has a human head with a penis on it.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Just give it a click. Check out this. Check out this crazy-looking pig.
Daily
What now?
Star?
Daily Star. Oh, gosh.
Is that a real thing?
That is
Okay.
one of our
Daily
Weird
Star.
Al.
one of our lower quality newspapers in this
Sure.
country.
So it's...
It does print real news
It's
as
not
well,
fake.
but with
It's not like the National Enquirer fake news, but it's very all caps. As you can see in the headline, there's 3 all caps words. Mutants.
No, it's just this
with
insane
penis
looking...
on its
Just
head.
this insane looking
yes.
pig that was born.
But also the caption, you're right about the all caps. The caption also looks like it was written by Trump because it's all caps, sad, this mutated piglet was born with a penis on its head and a human-like face.
Yeah, written by Donald Trump.
It sounds so emotional, doesn't it? That headline. It's like they're really upset. Oh yeah, that is
assuming
freaky
this-
looking.
Oh, and then the next one, the next picture is captioned "Weird: Locals flock from far and wide to see the piglet."
Tragically, the animal did not survive, possibly due to its rare mutation, passed away shortly after being born. It is a shame it died. Tao continued.
It does. The face looks a bit human. It also looks a bit like a Smurf.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a snork.
Yeah, there aren't many humans
Snorks
that look
have
like
the dicks
this.
on their heads?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I tell you, if that pig was able to live and grow up, it'd probably have some erectile issues. Probably.
Sure, let's get back to that.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little something about how.
Well, the
we're dealing with
mammalian erectile tissues are scaffolded by pig is a mammal, as are humans, of course. They're scaffolded by wavy collagen fibers with a little bit of elastin stacked parallel to each other, called
This does sound like a shampoo advert.
it's
doesn't it?
called tunica albuginae, or that's TA is what it's called. When the spongy tissues swell with blood, these fibers allow for extra room while still holding everything together by straightening out. As the TA fibers reach their full length and then stretch, they also create firmness, acting as a hydrostatic skeleton that controls and limits the shape change and resists external deformation. So these researchers have noticed all these pigs got limp cocks, and they constructed a synthetic mimic of these fibers by testing different compositions on a balloon model. They found stretching isotropic polyvinyl alcohol gel and adding crosslinks to keep the resulting fibers in a parallel alignment produce the same directional expansion and stretch as a normal boner, which creates the soft to firm transition seen in the erectile tissue as a whole. So they called their bionic creation an artificial tunica albuginae, or ATA. It can undergo cyclic bursts of relaxing and stretching while resisting fatigue, maintaining toughness, and withstanding needle punctures during suturing. So it can get into some pretty freaky shit.
Yeah.
You can put cigarettes out on it. Doesn't even scream. It's
You're
great.
doing the circus.
Yeah. Then they tested their synthetic tissue in pigs with cock injuries. The results 1 month after the procedure showed that the ATA group achieved good, though not perfect, repair results. So it can't fully restore the complete intricate structure of a natural cock, as it did not replace the function of the other tissues also involved, like blood vessels. But it was still able to repair normal erectile function in the pigs after a saline injection, as demonstrated in this video, which I will now click. Wow. So this is very interesting. So what do we think this means for the future? You know,
I don't know. Yeah.
because I know things. well, normal, boner pills and such.
Sure.
Those are more of the blood vessel issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is specifically for like injuries, isn't it? This is where the dick actually needs repairing, rather than just something is sort of physiologically not quite working or even psychologically not quite working. This is more like
so hypothetically,
scaffolding
right?
needs
But
to be repaired.
hypothetically, when one of these pigs was, let's say, 15, if it had put its cock in a coffee maker as a joke, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, would this help? Would this help this pig so he wasn't so sad in his mid-30s?
Or at least wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
Asking for a pig friend.
Yeah. I gotta. If this pig suspected
This hypothetical pig.
Yeah, if this hypothetical pig suspected that incident had caused it problems later in life that are embarrassing,
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we're
Sounds
onto
promising.
something. Sounds promising.
Get some artificial tunica albuginea.
Get some ATA.
That sounds
And then-
delicious.
yeah.
It sounds like something you'd have in a smoothie.
Exactly.
It's
The new
a Java
superfood.
Juice boost.
Yes, a smoothie maker, in fact, involved with the accident. And
It's a little tribute to that.
yeah.
That's how it got twisted up in the first
There you
place.
go.
And now it's
right?
repairing
That's
it.
why they're
So they say
curly.
while there's still a way to go before such technology can be used by humans, they should say inhumans. It's being used by humans.
Yeah, it's not
this-
under pigs in lab coats. is it?
Right. We got fixing their own dicks. This research increases our understanding of tough yet shape-shifting materials. What's more, she says, she is SHI. It's not a that's what she said.
Right. That's what she
Well,
said.
that's what she said.
Yeah, this is the researcher whose last name is she. A homonym. Okay, so
Homophone,
homophone,
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
homophone. So this design approach is not limited to the biomimetic design of tunica albuginea tissues, but can be extended to many other load-bearing tissues. Why do they call it that? It's brutal. They're talking about things like tendons and such, but come on, man.
Load
It's
bearing.
gotta show you a little bit of load-bearing tissue over here.
Wait.
I got a bit of a...
Yeah, I got a box of them by my bedside.
Hey.
I'm so sorry, Christina. This is not
fine.
what the podcast always
Yes,
is.
it
It's
is.
just what it usually
Yes,
is.
it
It's
is.
Just what it
usually-
frequently
Telling
is.
guests that
Yeah,
we're
okay.
embarrassed.
You're right.
Load-bearing tissues by the bed is very funny. So, interesting.
All I can think about when you said shape shifting is like that Terminator guy who could sort of form and just
Yes, the
mainly around the
E1000.
cock.
Yeah, the D1000.
Yeah. We're really working towards this.
Yeah. Have you seen this boy? And then
There's a giant dick looking for you.
yeah.
No, I mean like actually a giant
Yeah.
dick.
From the
Sorry.
future.
Yeah.
I wasn't being metaphorical.
But he was also a giant dick.
This giant dick from the future.
Also acting like a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So, yeah, glad that if we have any pigs listening who've got dick injuries, good news
Some
for you.
hope.
And do you guys want to stick around and do one more quick bonus?
Let's
episode
do it.
for
I
our
think we should.
Patreon patrons. I don't remember how long the first part of the recording was, but I think
yeah,
we
it was about
probably
10. I
topped
think
an
we're
hour.
I think we're there.
Okay, and I have it hard out. I'm sorry, not
Yeah,
not a
so
not a
then
penis
should we
dick
just
or
like
a big dick
make a
joke.
little
We'll make a
Maybe a little
note.
audio note.
I'll write a note in here and we'll go straight into it. So we're at 50 mins.
but for like Christina, on that incredibly highbrow,
Yeah.
highfalutin note, it's probably about time we wrapped up the main episode. We'll do another story for our Patreon patrons, but where can our listeners find you, and more importantly, order your book?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Christina Martin. I got the original handle, which is why I always get the Canadian singer's tweets, because she had to come in with Xtina. So I'm at Christina Martin. I'm also at Evie King Writes for my book handle. And you can get my book at all the cliched good bookstores, Amazon, Waterstones, Smiths, bookshop.org, everywhere. Just Google Ashes to Admin, Evie King, and you will find it.
Get that. We'll put links up as well in the show notes, which you'll find on your app and also at probablyscience.com, where we also put links to all the stories we cover and also our Patreon and PayPal links. Thank you very much for everyone who helps support the show that way and who supports the show by spreading the word. You can also find us on Twitter at probablyscience, individually at Andy T. Wood, at Jesse Case, and at Matt Kirshen. And probablyscience@gmail.com is the email address for any questions, comments, clarifications, and stories you'd like us to cover. But Christina Martin, aka Evie King, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, it was fun.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.